and what is happening around you.
It's like I'm seeing into a planet or a cavern in a planet, through the planet. I'm still out in space as I come in closer. And so the space is quite beautiful, but it has some very angular ships and beautiful colors, but hard colors.
Hmm.
And then as I'm looking, as if I was flying over, I'm looking down at the planet, which is somehow, or I think it's a planet, is somehow familiar, or yeah, kind of familiar. Then I'm getting glimpsing almost like I can see through the rock and the walls and into a structure, a cavern, or below ground. I get the sense it's below ground. And at first, it looked like the beings I was seeing, several beings talking, and the first thought that came to mind is they had the picture of the coronavirus diagram, you know, with the pokey things.
Hmm.
um, but I think it's scales or armor or facial structure. And so I'm not in the space where those are. I'm observing.
Mm-hmm. And can you take a look at your form to see what you look like?
I have a form, but it's not as dense, as fully there as this body is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not sure if the languaging is right, but it's not an etheric body because it's shaped kind of like this body, but it's translucent, or
Mm-hmm.
and um, so that which is my body, or the form, which is kind of body like, but also has other capabilities. So I don't see that I have wings per se, but I get the sense that, and they may be very thin or very super translucent.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get the sense that I'm in a craft, but I am, part of my physical tech can be a craft. I don't. So if I was a bird man or an angel with wings, but it's a technology. It's oh, maybe this. My Merkaba is huge eagle wing like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all part of me. That's the best I can.
Okay.
So it seems like I'm on recon. It doesn't feel like, it feels like I'm observing everything and observing the beings that I was taking a closer peek at, or I'm trying to stay undetected.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so maybe that's a part of my I'm going to go with wing-like. It's the best I've got.
Mm-hmm.
Structure is also a cloaking, some kind of cloaking.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm getting a little closer view, or a little sharper focus view of some of the eyes that are in some of these beings, and on the I guess it's the bone structure around the eyebrows. So again, it's angular, and there's like plates or ridges, more pronounced than a human has. Very fierce looking faces. Not that I can remember in this lifetime seeing one up close and personal, but I would say they're reptilian.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They have a color to them?
well, some, and my color palette doesn't quite hold true for what I'm seeing, but some are kind of a dark greenish metallic-y brown sort of a thing, and some are more of an elegant coloring, not really green, but I don't know, more elegant seems to come. Well, that maybe that's what they're exuding.
Mm-hmm.
And one or two in particular are more not golden, not white, but somewhere in that palette. And the color has a richness to it, so a little bit of a pearling sheen to it. But again, that's the color, and what's being conveyed. So it's almost like coloring is a mark of rank, I want to say. I can't quite make out what garments, if there are any, but it's same thing. I get a sense that some are yes sirs, and and some are the sirs.
Now, you
A
said
lot of
you said they're holding a picture of the COVID.
No, I was saying that when I first, well, maybe, but when I first was kind of peering through, as I was spying through levels of the rock, so if I'm flying above the planet, let's say, I'm trying to make sense of, and I'm looking down, looking down, looking down, looking down, looking down, so my vision is drilling through. And so I perceived coming through that last layer of bedrock, or maybe it was the structure of whatever chamber. And I don't know whether, again, it was a sense of what they were evoking, but I laughed for a minute, because what I saw were these faces were coming, and beings were coming into focus or realization for me. Oh, that's what that is. But at first it looked like superimposed where um, the COVID has a very particular look to it, like it's round and it's bumpy and it has those pointy things sticking up. So I thought, that's weird. They look like, COVID things.
Ah.
So I don't, again, that could be a metaphoric informational relay,
Mm-hmm.
to tie. So that's a packet of information, tie that to this. I don't know, maybe this is a discussion
Hmm.
about that. Maybe this is the COVID command center for, I don't know. That's conjecture, but yeah, so somehow that was there. Now that's cleared up. I can see that each being itself doesn't have smooth, well, their skin is smooth, but it's not, there are contours to the skin, which you might say, they had bumpy skin, or they had warty skin, or they had, like different animals have different skins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's different like that.
Okay.
Very busy place. I can I don't know what there's whatever the ground is made of, and then there's structures within that, but it doesn't seem, it's not dark, but it's not inviting.
Mm.
It's cold, and cold by design, not so much, part of it is temperature, but again, frequency, feel.
Uh-huh.
Like if you looked at maybe stainless steel, even if you didn't know what it was, you would know that it was cool to the touch, or as opposed to velvet, if that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's a read I'm getting off of it.
Okay.
And it's a large complex, although I'm not seeing all of it, I can just sense that it's quite a large complex. Like I can see, and they're big doors, for lack of a better word, but they slide. There's like a pocket, like a pocket door type of a thing, but there's no wood. So they're made out of some other kind of structure.
Do you happen to know what planet this is?
Um, no name comes to mind,
Okay.
or no recognizable, so people translate.
Okay. And have you been observing them for quite some time?
Um, I'm not certain. When I met me, whoever I am here,
Mm-hmm.
to do this, I don't think that I had just arrived on this. So it's almost like I joined, I don't know, observation in process, or some kind of mission in process, or viewing in process. Maybe
Mm.
that's.
Okay. So let's fast forward just a little bit. Fasting forward in time. Let's see what happens. Going forward now.
I guess it's not as clear a picture, almost like like there's interference or reciprocal shields up.
Mm.
But I get lots of activity. There's a lot of activity going on, and so a little bit more heightened activity. No, not any kind of like an emergency um, of an attack or something, but everybody's chop chop. You know, they've got stuff to do, and they're getting orders to do, and they're going and doing it. A little bit more of before there was more of a I want to say pointed and um, fierce or ferocious type confidence, arrogance. Yeah, we're it's just on task on the plan. Now it's not quite so shiny in that now there's a bit more bravado to hold that same tone, I guess.
Okay.
And so what I have the sense of now is that it's almost like I'm pulling away, although I don't know that I necessarily am. I think it's just so like it seems like layers uh, layers being thrown in between things. So it's yeah, like someone's throwing up layers.
Okay. So you're pulling back from that scene?
Well, I am starting to pull back now as I'm getting pushed back, but also that it's what I was seeing or able to see, or my, scanning down in has been like rebuffed. It's just kind of like that. And so now I guess I'm not quite sure how to describe it. It's readjusting, getting bearings, and maybe. So for me, I would describe like my telemetry. I'm trying to, I don't know, clean things up, clear it. Can I clear up the picture, so to say, or do I need to get the hell out of here? It's kind of like I'm very, very, very intently in all of this, and so like those are my two focuses, and they're not opposed to each other. They're working, so but what's interesting is it's locked down. If I try to get a sense of the rest, remember I was describing before, so I'm still up, I guess, in space, or whatever my position was. So X number from the planet in some kind of lower orbit or something. But I can catch glimpses that that's still there, but it's hard. There's such focus on those two things that it's hard to. I'm not aware of me as being this new me is not aware of. It's not top of mind at all.
Okay. So that's your main focus, is observing them and what they're doing.
Yeah, and trying to get the picture back, so to say, or do I need to, you know, fire up the thrusters and get the hell out of here? So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I must have done that. Either saying that is now I'm moving back and leaving that system, leaving that quadrant, certainly leaving that planet and what was around that, the hard, very beautiful but very hard colors. I don't know how to describe it any other way. There's a that adds to the color, the character, the feel of them.
Mm-hmm.
And now into a wider space that isn't just blank space. It says the colors are more like midnight blue or a rich cobalt blue, but you can feel that it's space, but it has I don't know. I guess there's no planets, and there's an occasional light of a star sort of thing, but it's just like it's beautiful, very thin or very ethereal, midnighty blue. I guess maybe that's the color of this section of space. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so either I've moved, looking at what was there, you know, and where I was, and is, you know, so I'm now.
Okay. And you said you had a sense that you can be in a craft. Could you go there? Could you be in a craft?
Well, that's interesting when you just asked that. So before I was my body, like, you know, if I had wings, that was part of the craft. So I want to say, I'm trying to make sense of what I'm feeling and seeing. So it's more than remote viewing. It's more than astral projection. It's more tangible than that. I don't know. I'm not quite sure the right lingo, but so it's way beyond remote viewing. Like if I'm sitting at a desk and I'm remote viewing, right? And maybe it's maybe it's an advanced or just a normal thing for me to do. But so there's a physical aspect to me being there, but I from wherever I am, and I'm not sure because I haven't gotten back there yet, but wherever I go. Does that mean, you know, like I either transport in some way or stretch out? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Makes sense. Now, are there other beings kind of like you that are also observing these other beings? Is there like a team, observation team?
I get a sense of a team, although, and they're with me, but not right around here. So it seems to me like I'm heading back. It must take a bit to pull everything in, or however it works. I don't know, but so now my heart is racing a bit right now. So maybe it's like the left. I just heard, like, from a human perspective, the sound of. I know.
Mhm.
But there's a team involved, but I know I can't with my wing can't reach out and hold the other hand right there. So they're
Mhm.
there. There may be other aspects. I mean, me as in triangulation aspects, right?
Mhm.
On in a sector space, but I can't relate to them.
Mhm.
Uh, take that on all different meanings of that word um, in that way.
Okay.
So, so
So let's
and not,
fast forward just a bit to get to where you're going. When you're pulling all your beingness back, let's fast forward to that moment. To when you arrive.
so I'm not quite sure. So it's kind of very subtle colors. Not necessarily any, kind of a verdigris and a little bit of a pale gold, and that's not mists, but just um, the sense if there's any structure or forms, it's a little bit with lines in it, but it's almost like it's a quiet space or I don't know whether it's a containment or decontamination type space or it's a space where I have to be as I come back from this. And I'm not sure exactly of all the purpose of that, but it has to do with a more structural, physical level, energetic, vibrational level, and something in there in debriefing, although I don't sense any other being around, but I'm perfectly comfortable in there, and this is just what you do next. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
exactly sure at all what that entails, but
Okay.
it's um, there's some way I am debriefing, and it's almost like this. I don't know if this is light that is this, that is this colors or, so it's frequency light, photonic light frequencies of slightly different shades that are that are cleaning me and also syncing up the data, the experience, and the data.
Oh.
Um, so, so whatever this is, light is the best thing I can say. Although it just has color, language really fails here. But so it's maybe I don't know hosing me down, and the very light is also receiving the data. And I have a sense of, and in a very ethereal way, um, the room or room, I'm just going to go with that, that's beyond, it's not quite to say this chamber where the light is, but it's a space. I don't know. It's not as rigid as that. Like you got. Okay, I'm in the light shower coming back sort of thing, and then there's all these people. It's not like that, but I do have a sense, and it's like through many layers of a gauzy. If I was going to describe it, a sense of more of the room, the space, the structure around it. And there's other activities. It doesn't seem to be noise. I don't feel a lot of activity. I just sense that there are other beings and everything's cool. But apparently I have to stay here for a while.
Very nice.
I don't know. That's the best I got.
Is there anything else significant that's standing out to you about this place?
It's I'm trying to think of the right way to describe it. So it's good is what keeps kind of variations in that. So it's a place of the light, but it's also good data, good mission, good job. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a poor way to describe it, but that's the sense.
All right. Very good. So let's allow that scene to fade away. And we're going to travel to another important day in that life as that being. Going there on the count of 3. 1. Begin to travel through time and space to another important day. And 2. Allow the images to come to you. And 3. You're there now.
Well, it's beautiful. The colors are, I'm not sure. The colors are like the most vivid of sunsets, I would guess, rather than sunrise. At first, it seemed like I was just like coming into stepping on to a beach in the sun, but I don't. Well, it's not a beach that I've ever like a beach I've ever been to around here. So I mean, around the planet. So um, then it seemed like uh, if I could stand on the rings of a planet, that I'm looking out at the space. I don't know. It's there's something kind of I don't remember it well, but something kind of in the movie is it Contact? That's that's would be a good way to kind of describe. So I'm walking on the rim of a planet, or I am the rim of the planet. Maybe I'm the rim of the. It's beautiful, and I don't get a real. I get more of a sense of what I'm seeing and feeling than so much of who I amness.
Mm-hmm. So you have a sense of being connected to that realm?
Yeah, so I'm not okay, I'm not yes, there's a connection to the whatever it is I'm standing on, which is organic, and um, I guess it's colors and flows in the space, not on a beach. So there seems to be maybe the space is the water, like space rolls with tides and whatever. It's the same kind of a thing. Um, it's a little bit confusing. So I have the sense I'm still the same being that I was before, but because I'm either where I am or what I'm doing, I'm even a little less embodied than I was, or a little less form,
Mm-hmm.
like so I'm more invisible.
Mm.
That sounds so funny. Okay, I'm more invisible than I was before. I'm more translucent than I was before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, okay. This is just a quiet place I like to. This is just a beautiful place I like to go.
Okay. So you enjoy being here?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm not doing anything.
Mm.
I'm just being here. Just, I'm not working. I'm not I'm not on task. I'm not on a mission. I'm just hanging out. I'm
Sounds like
clean.
a good place to rest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there is I don't know, maybe this is some kind of planetoid planet celestial body that is orbiting another planet. It's almost like if I was gonna sit on these beautiful cliffs above a beautiful beach in sunset, it's the same kind of thing, except that I'm not on the cliffs, I'm on the planetoid. I don't know.
Okay.
And I certainly feel bigger than me and this in my regular human form. So bigger in my height and yeah, my height, but also way bigger. I have a feeling way bigger of my bodies, my etheric bodies, my field.
Is there anything else you feel about this?
No, I'm hanging out.
Okay. Well, let's once again allow that scene to fade away. Just letting it all fade. And let's begin to travel through time and space to another necessary time. Just going there on the count to three, traveling through time and through space. And one, just begin to float. And two, and three.
This is a different, not nearly as clear or describable. So the first thing I'm seeing is a baby's face, but I think it's my baby's face, my me as a baby. But I'm also, so I'm viewing it and viewing at it and viewing from it. And then
Ah,
I
okay.
see my, so almost like a montage of moments or times of my, so me in this lifetime as a little one. And so it's hard to tell whether they're actually moments that I'm experiencing or just, I was going to say pictures, but that's not it. It's almost like they're, huh, uh, it's confusing. So it's giving me a little bit of a headache, which is interesting. Um, well, I had the thought just now that it might be like timelines.
Hmm.
So it could be moments in time, like this happened here and then this happened, or timelines. Maybe it's a combination of those things. And uh, I don't know. I'm pretty well. I'm maybe a little bit bigger now. When I first started, I was seeming like be baby, pretty baby-esque, but not, tiny wormy baby. Uh, kind of just propped up, leaning, looking around, and some was interaction with my brothers and sisters, and some was like they were coming over, and but some, it's very confusing. I can't quite. I don't know whether I can't lock in a particular
Scene.
scene or timeline or thread or age. So it's all of those. It's now it's like I'm losing it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, now mostly it's just gold light
Okay.
or very, very filmy, soft, but incredibly brilliant. I would say it has a goldish cast of light. So whatever that was, whatever that being there was, is kind of been replaced by this.
Okay. Does this gold light feel familiar to you?
It does feel familiar. It's incredibly, well, it's incredibly beautiful and all encompassing and sublimely delicious. And I
Hmm.
get the sense of like it's, if I was to attempt to describe a shape to it, which is hard, but it seems to have some, it's like the most incredibly intricate and yet ethereal flower, I want to say,
Hmm.
like the flower of life, or I don't know, but, but it's, I'm I'm seeing it. I am it. I'm wrapped up and embraced by it. Uh, It's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there are there's a little bit of a feel now of maybe undulation in it, and a very, very, I want to say like gossamer wing thickness sort of a thing of other colors coming in. And so the gold light flower part is fading,
Okay.
or not center. Um, and now I have the chainsaw ripping through metal roof. So aside from that, what I see is eyes in the darkness, or it's not dark, eyes in like super dark bottle green, almost like underwater, but I don't think I'm underwater, but eyes in the darkness. So I can make out eyes within that dark color.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure they're, well, I sure don't think they're friendly, but no, they're malevolent. Yeah. So I'm not, um, I don't know if this is a realm or like a space within realms or dimensions or something. I'm not the dark eyes or that which belongs to them, but I'm not sure what the hell I'm doing. So, and then now that's disappearing, and now the gold is returning.
Uh-huh. I was wondering if they had came into your gold light.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the gold is returning in beautiful brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
And I can kind of make out a bits of the flower shape, but that's not showing, that's not presenting as most important. And now it's almost like shafts of light that are just unspeakably gorgeous and unspeakably um, I don't know. I can't even think of I can't think of enough superlatives. um,
Beyond
and
what words can describe.
yeah, yeah. It's not what I would say is the super source. It's maybe it is source. So, like the super source to me is all that's energy before it comes into anything. And source says, okay, sends that energy stream and that's now individuated onto something else. And this is it's it's uh it's like it's no thingness and thingness at the same time of this incredible golden, I guess it's light, but it seems so much light just seems like such a pale word to describe it. And it also seems to have more, certainly gravitas, if not, I don't think it has structure to be, but
And you feel that you are one with this light?
yeah.
Okay.
and can be, huh, um, not quite sure how to describe, but it's like I can view everything, so I can maybe maybe event horizons on infinitum,
Mm.
and I can just, since I'm not at this moment choosing to look at any, and I'm not sure why, but I'm not choosing to look at anything one in particular, but I get the sense that I could, you know, just like I did before, where I focused down
Mm-hmm.
into that planet. So it's certainly a, recharging is not the right word. This doesn't seem accurate either, but it's a holding, uh, a um, none of the words seem to fit, like, complete. I guess maybe that's the best.
Ah,
It's
okay.
it's everything and no thing and the best thing and the only thing and every little piece of everything
Mm.
all at the same time. And because it's so enrapturing to be it and be in it, be of it, be it, be all of it. Not much. So so I can't. Hmm. So at this moment, I'm not experiencing any one particular piece of it. Like I could, say there might be, like I can sense my dog is in the room or there's a chair, or, like those are individual. I'm not, I guess I just don't choose to be, or there's no need to be, or since I'm all of it, I can't individuate. I don't know how to describe it.
Mm. Well, that sounds quite amazing. You did a great job at describing that. Now let's just take a moment and allow you to take that in, that sense of being, that completeness. And when you're ready, let's begin to travel through time and space. Just floating to another important time, a necessary place.
Well, I've definitely moved from where I was because it's not quite as cosmically delicious as I was before. But I don't seem to have arrived any place, so I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I'm not. like if you're, I don't know, if you're traveling someplace, it's just you're not. I don't know if it's I'm not there yet or I'm just.
That's all right. Just take your time. Just allow yourself to float.
Maybe there is no other stops on this subway line. That's what comes to mind. I don't know. That's a weird non sequitur. And not that I see a subway line, but it just floated in my head. Okay, that was weird. I'm not perceiving any colors or any lack of colors.
Okay.
You know, I'm not. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of like, although I don't. It's not that. It's probably the wrong way to describe it, but long time ago, I wanted, I wanted to visualize. I wanted to see things. I wanted to do something. So probably 18-ish, 18. And I got nothing. It was just black. Except this isn't black, and this isn't like that. But there's just, I don't know. Maybe that silly phrase of this, nothing, no other subway stops. It's the best.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. Just take a moment and turn all of your senses on. Do you get any kind of feelings being in this space of nothingness?
Not that I really pick up. I mean, nothing. Not that it's good or bad. Just it's almost like everything's just gone quiet.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
No, it's not like I don't get any sense of interference or like I get put in a box and I can't see out of it, sort of a thing. I mean, aside from maybe my ego mind getting pouty. Actually, I got more color when I said that. So yeah, no, I don't.
Mhm.
I don't. I don't think anything's necessarily amiss. It's just
Okay. So let's once again just begin to float, begin to travel through time and space. And I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. Move into that necessary time. And 5, begin to float. And 4, just continuing on, moving through the barriers. 3, moving through time and through space. 2, and 1.
I see. I think it's my face that I see, not this face, but my face that I see out of, maybe see a reflection that's something, it seems to be, I can't quite make what it is, seems to be close quarters. And something that's outside of me, some kind of part of those quarters, is reflecting a bit of the profile of my face, eye, part of an eyebrow, a little bit of the plane of the upper cheek under the eye, it back to me, if that makes sense. It's not a good place. So it's not a comfortable place. I don't get a sense of all of what the place is, but it's and I get that I can't hear anything that I can discern, but I get the sense that this close quarters, for lack of a better word, is, there's a lot of this.
Can you describe the close quarters a bit more?
I'm not familiar with what it's made of. It has very hard, it seems hard, like, you know, if a person is, they're a hard person, or so it's like that. It's I would say that's an emotional description. It's also an energetic read of it, and it may be an actual, you know, like substance read on, like a, you know, there's softwood and hardwood sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's made of. Metal, I want to say, but that's not quite right, or what I can see. And it's seems to be angular and not well. It's a space that's confined, but I can't. Um, it's more than a force field,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe the force field seems to have like size dimensions to it that's somewhat discernible, but it's not completely invisible like one might think a force field is.
Mm.
Um, Actually, that noise uh, plays, I don't quite get it, but plays in really well to the whole sense of this place. I can't see much. The colors, if there are any, are more hard chrome or silver, or maybe some gold sort of things. I get a feeling of hardness, of metal, of coldness, of lifelessness.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of I'm not the only one in the confine. I don't quite understand.
Okay.
But I can't discernibly hear anything, or I don't know. It's actually, for some reason, my linear mind just handed me the picture of not like that, but Neo in well, he had the thing where he's in the pods,
Mm-hmm.
in the what was like a bathtub, and he was, I guess, the babies. But these aren't babies, and it's not quite like that. This is it's not circular. It's more rectangular type shapes. I don't know. But I can't see all of that. I just have a sense that that was something in my data files that came forward. So that's a kind of like that, but not
And you said
as
you
very.
could see your reflection. Could you
Yeah,
describe that to me?
I can see whiffs of my hair, so it's like maybe a golden brown.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can't see all. I can't see. I can see, like I say, an eyebrow, or one part of my face, just because the actual the sizes of the surfaces that I'm catching reflections in
Mm-hmm.
are not that big. Although not all of them seem to be reflecting. Maybe that's part of it too.
Okay.
It's a devoid place, so maybe maybe it's not me, but maybe it's devoid of maybe like the structure or the confines or the place is devoid. It's devoid is the word that keeps coming up. So
Okay.
maybe devoid of maybe feeling as or well, it's hard and cold and so devoid. So I'm not sure. One thing that's interesting, I definitely have the sense of being an observer as I'm being here or experiencing this. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than attached to or emotionally invested. I'm not sure how to describe it, but so they're other than giving descriptors to something, which I'm not getting or not able to relay a whole lot of. It's not a dramatic movie sort of a thing. I'm describing. See my face, Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's begin to travel back in time to right before you went into this closed quarter. Go in there in three, two, one.
Seems to be. Well, the first thing I want to say is like a park or not a lot of man-made structures, but just a big, not way out in the country, but yeah, kind of a park, but not a tiny little city park. Sort of. Maybe on the size and scale of Central Park in New York or bigger.
Mm.
Uh, and I don't, well, maybe I don't get the sense if it was Central Park. If it is, I don't know, but a park.
Okay.
And it has kind of a dreamlike quality to it, so I can see other people around, but it's dreamlike. So in other words, they're not, either I'm not interacting with them or they're not that close, or
Mm-hmm. And take a look at your form. Do you have a body?
yeah, I think I'm a little girl,
Okay.
short one, and I think a human, but I'm not certain. I mean, I don't get a sense one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't get a sense of age young. Certainly nowhere near a teenager. I'm not certain of the age.
Okay.
Um, and it seems that there doesn't seem to be anything too remarkable about the day at the park. And I just looked around. I'm not sure who I'm here with. Um, so I was riding, I think, a little bike. I don't know, the dream-like quality to it is kind of weird. It's nowhere near like the other images that have come.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know whether there's a film over it, or it is a dream, or maybe it's huh, maybe it's a clip reel, so like like maybe a clip reel, like an old time movie sort of thing. I mean, it's color, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
Technicolor. Um,
And so you rode your bike to the park. Can you picture your home?
no, I don't know that I rode my bike to the park, or that we just came, whoever we is, came to the park, and the bike was one of the things we brought.
Oh, okay.
Like or you might go to the beach and
Mm.
you schlep all your stuff to the beach. I don't. There's some similarities to things like the trees and stuff in Central Park, but it's as a definitely a feeling of a park. So I could just be feeling those. I'm not certain.
That's okay. So let's fast forward a little bit to the moment right before you move into this closed quarters. Just go in there now.
Everything seems to be in slow motion and muffled, and it's not black, but it's um, want to say colorless isn't the right word, but everything's very slowed down and muffled and almost syrupy. don't know how to.
So are you moving away from this park in slow motion?
Yeah, yeah. I'm moving. I guess in the park or away from the park. It's hard to. I feels like I'm moving, like I'm walking or something, but um, again, it feels kind of syrupy. Seems like a weird way, and I don't know if someone's walking with me or the phrase bundled up or something. I don't know. But it feels like I'm kind of walking, but it doesn't feel like I was when I was riding the bike. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. So just continue to follow this scene to see how it is that you end up in the closed quarters. Just continue to describe it to me.
Everything seems to be moving slower, and then the sounds or the noises or the seem to be muffled's not really the right word. Distorted, muffled, some maybe combination of those, and feeling very heavy. Kind of sitting down. It's okay. Don't knock the computer over. Yeah, very heavy and sitting down. Guess maybe kind of sleepy.
Do you still feel like someone was walking beside you? Do you feel their presence?
Um, I feels like I'm just sitting down now and leaning against something and heavy and sleepy.
Okay.
But I'm going to need to take a break for just a minute because not only do I have to go to the bathroom, but I think my friend needs to go out.
Okay. That's fine.
He's picking up on something, so I'm
Okay.
not sure.
That's fine. You go ahead and open your eyes.
Okay, that's easier said than done.
Go
Okay, so I'm just gonna take a break for a sec.
ahead.
Okay, you need to get up so I can get up and let you out, Goofy. All right, watch out for the cape. Hold on. Okay. All right. Good boy. Here you go. Yeah, I just gotta get him in. Good boy. All right, tap for the cables. Okay. Now, you go on down. Okay. Good boy.
All right. Just allow yourself to get comfortable. And flowing back into that scene. You were sitting with your head pressed against something as that child or that girl. Just moving yourself back into that scene.
You get the sense of like I'm traveling down a long corridor, long tunnel. But it's not. Um, um, so it's almost as though I was if my seeing is a camera panning down rather than me actually traveling, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do you get a sense that you are walking down this tunnel, or how are you moving through this tunnel?
um, maybe like it's quiet. I mean, it's not what I'm on isn't making anything. It's maybe like a cart, electric cart or something.
Oh, okay.
But I don't seem to have all my senses about me, or I was going to say my wits about me, something like that.
Do you feel
Um,
that you may have fell asleep when you were leaning and sitting
yeah.
down? Okay.
But I don't really feel wide awake now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Seems to be a long corridor or long route, life corridors or something.
Uh-huh.
Big gray. I'm trying to pick out the colors. Kind of gray, kind of platinumy gray.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard. I guess maybe some seems to be concrete, some seems to be like steel, and like there's lighting as we go, and then when we're not, when we slid through that part, um, the light isn't there anymore. You know, like I don't know, like there's a motion detector, I guess that's.
Oh, okay.
Um, I get the sense there's other people around, other beings around, but I'm not, either I'm not able to pick up on it, or see them directly. It's almost like, well, like I can feel and sense that there's some guys over there outside of my house, outside of my yard, and they're making a racket, right?
Mhm.
But I can't actually see them, unless, even if I looked at the window, that's not the right. So is that kind of a sense?
Yes.
Just like I could feel roses just walked in the room, my cat.
Mhm.
Um, there's something I was going to describe a minute ago. With the lights going on and off, when there's more um, the light even that's there is not very bright, and so I can make out someone seems to be driving this cart or something that I'm on, so it must have a front seat and a back seat or something, but I can't really make it the driver is just very sitting straight and not paying any attention to me.
Mhm.
But other than that, I know it's nobody, but I can tell it's sitting next to me.
Okay. Just continue to move forward to when you arrive at those quarters.
Well, now it seems like my uh, still heavy, but it's like my eyes are not working all that well. Oh, I don't know whether it's because I don't understand what I'm looking at, or whether I'm just blurry wouldn't be the right word to describe, but not it's kind of like that. It's not blurry,
Mhm.
but it's filmy, like seeing through a curtain or
Mhm.
something like that. Um, I hear faint noises, and it's almost like where we were, the corridor or the tunnel or something kind of branched off, and now it seems circular, but the cart could keep going. Like it opens up and it's circular, the cart could keep going.
Hmm.
Um, but in this space that's circular seems to be not the same as I was before, but like those uh, confinements, or those, I don't know whether it's one big circular room and there's like uh, cubby holes, what do they call it, cub cubicles or something like that, or strange. Before I would describe some of the other stuff as steel or concrete, like you might see in you know, if you look in a basement or in a big city building, there's, you know, like the big basements. So, but different shapes. But this is more, I'm not sure it's something I recognize as well, a material we have on this planet or that I'm familiar with.
Okay.
And
So,
just very sleepy, very heavy. And I get a sense that it's more filmy, so I don't like what I see now is shadowy.
mhm.
Not quite right, but yeah, shadowy. Um, and I sense that there's other of these structures or other of these rooms or something. Um, and it feels like there's other people, but I'm just sitting down on the floor, just sleepy.
Does it feel like there are other people in those other cubicles that you had described?
Yeah, I can't. It's hard. I can't see him clearly,
Mhm.
or I can't make it out. I'm not. I don't quite know how to describe it. Can't make it out.
Okay.
But yes, it feels like there's other, and the it seems like the cart is driven off, and like it did before when we were moving down it's gotten dimmer. There is some kind of light, but it's almost like what do you call it? Uh, Safety light's not the right word, but if you have a low light on and then when the motion detector goes on, it makes everything brightish. It's like those two levels of light. Yeah, just sleepy.
Okay. So are you still in the cart moving or are you in the circular place?
Yes,
Okay. Now let's again fast forward just a bit to see what takes place.
I'm muzzy headed, and this feels like, you know, when your foot's asleep, but it feels like that all over.
Mhm.
Um, what's it saying? Like, you know, you have ants in them or something like that. But some of the pretty damn annoying ants. uh, yeah, I guess it's frustrating. I get a sense that it's brighter and there's more activity, but I can't quite. I don't know, discern or describe, or it's almost like hmm, like I'm like I'm asleep and awake at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And what I can see, oh, that's like um, sometimes in some hospitals, they have this there. Well, I think it's called a ward or something, and there's a lot of different beds, and then they have the those those whole things, and they can slide the curtains up, so that's so that's there's one room, and there's like they make kind of many little rooms in between with the curtain sort of thing. So it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's actually curtains, although I can't see when I'm touching them. But it looks, I get the feeling like there's, like that's the visual as well. Like there's a film. So I think there may be some kind of dividers and curtains or something, but there's also almost like a film on my eyes, but there's also a divider, but nothing seems soft,
Hmm.
and nothing seems, well, that's interesting. Organic is the word that comes to mind. And certainly nothing seems comfortable or comforting. Um, it's almost like, I want to say two tiers or two levels of action, maybe, like there's, like I'm there, and there seems to be other beings like me, although I'm not sure what I am. I mean, how to describe that, because it seems so filmy or gauzy or weirdy. But and then there's others that seem to be moving purposefully, I guess, or um, and something funny about the sound. It's like silence, which is actually quite loud, but it doesn't have a nice, unlike silence, doesn't have a nice feeling to it. So it's like, I don't know, maybe there's soundproofing, or it's hard to describe, but, and I'm not sure how much of what I pick up is an energy read or an emotional thing, and or again, like a structural thing.
Hmm.
Again, the word devoid keeps coming back, and it seems endless, like the space. Although what I remember when we drove in with that cart thing, it seemed to be, kind of like this big circular thing with this other spaces in, but it seems to be endless, like there are other same kind of intersection. If I was still in that cart, I could go to more intersections like this. Does that make sense? So I
Mm-hmm.
don't, um, I like the other places, so I don't like this one very good.
All right, so let's allow this to fade. And let's begin to fast forward through time to another important day. Just beginning to move there now, fast forwarding through time. And you are there now.
This is very bright, and in the wonder in the in a nice way to describe that. Seems to be lots of people around, and seems to be celebration of sorts, or celebratory, or certainly high, good. It's funny, it's funny because I say this because I don't remember my dreams, so I'm going to describe it, borrowing someone else's language, in a dreamlike way. There are many beings around me that are very familiar, but I'm not making out exactly who they are, but incredibly familiar. So it's a team. But we're just one among many groups that are here for this. Um, it's a I, I it's a big place. I mean, it's like maybe it's a big part of a city, or this building. I don't know. It's hard to. It doesn't feel country. It feels more urban, and big stuff is about to happen, about to come forward. Okay, so this is me. And in the funny way of non-multidimensional talk, not in the same time space that I am right this minute. So in the future, in my future,
Mm-hmm.
can't get a sense of. I don't think very much all that far in the future, because I don't think I got fit yet. um, yeah, it's a bit nebulous, but I think my sense is intentionally so. I don't know whether I'm the one who's intentionally making it so, or my soul is intentionally making it so, or that's part of the rules. So something there, but it's good. We're all fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But a big celebration, and big, actually 3 words: big celebration, revelations, and the other one just flew out. Um, um, it's like storylines are being laid out, or um, what do you say? I guess it's like saying revelations or reveals. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Ah, okay.
Uh, and what are they? Jumbotrons. They're those jumbotrons everywhere, and they're, I want to say, I'm not quite sure how I'm meaning this, but I get the sense they're two-way. So they can televise or teletransmit where I am with these groups of people, and wherever people are that can get that transmission, that they can send it back.
Hmm.
So that's so not only, you would energetically, if you can, if you're communicating telepathically, or um, energetically that way, but like a jumbotron, or whatever they're called, I think they're called jumbotron. They can transmit their actual more linear signal back. So I'm not familiar, even from my television work, if we have that we know about, if we have those now. But and the sky is the most gorgeous blue color. Just I'm looking at it, thinking of the most beautiful skies, the most quintessential, sunny blue day, blue sky day,
Mm-hmm.
and this is so much more beautiful than any I've ever seen. I've seen some pretty beautiful. Um, so there's something about what's going on, or about to go on, or fully go on. That's kind of right. Has changed. Well, the quality of the sky, but I want to say, um, okay, maybe that's it. The colors that everybody can perceive.
Ah.
So I have for many years now been able to have more. I call it more crayons in my more Crayolas in my crayon box, that I can paint with all these colors, so I can see when I look at greens, and so many color greens, or so many color, but so this is, the sky has done the same for me. I have more crayons in my crayon box, but I'm also noticing that certainly my team picks up on it, but there seems to be people gathering. Uh, Actually, this is not funny. So from what I can see from the reverse jumbotrons transmitting, but also just in the areas. So I don't know whether that means that, because this seems to be like, I don't know, is plaza the right word? I know it's fading a little bit, but it's very cool, very exciting, and very anticipatory, very celebration, very big moments are well, big moments are big moments are coming, but it's um, how do you describe it? So it's we're also telling the story, or telling the, maybe debriefing would be a good word, of the big moments that have come as well. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So the people are gathering to hear the reveals or the revelations.
Yeah, and they're gathering. So this I'm hearing from, well, because I have a knowing of it, and I'm hearing from, either maybe it's confirmation, or people are organizing things, but also I can feel it, that they're gathering not only in this place, in this plaza, and in these jumbotrons, because of the nature that they transmit both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Not only the whole planet, but it's almost like this scene in the plaza thing reaches every planet. Is that because they can see in? I don't know. Is it the jumbotrons? I'm not sure how to describe that, but it's evident and experienced by and partaken in, maybe is the right, by every being who wants to. And there are no shores left out, no globes, that's in all, would be the easiest way to say it.
Okay. So it's kind of like universal truth for everyone who would like to partake in it.
Yes, like, in Times Square, the jumbotrons reach galaxies far, far away.
Mm, interesting. So do you have a sense of what exactly the big reveal is?
Well, again, I'm judging by the gatherings of teams. I'm not the only one with a team there. That it's different parts of the stories of what those teams are doing. That's my sense of it. Yeah.
Ah, okay. So like bringing all of the information in together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, if I was going to tell you a story, there's character development and there's something. So it's kind of like that, but it's yeah, it's not like it's, so here's the thing, and it's just one thing. Again, I'm sensing that each of us, there's many groups. Well, there's lots of beings gathering, but there's many teams.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe many group teams, or teams and groups, or whatever the right word. My language is right now. And they're all part of. Okay, so I just got it's like an overlay image of this whole scene that's going on, where each team is part of a thread, or part of the story, and in order to tell the story, um, all those different parts are, I guess, like pieces of it are highlighted to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I like the idea of it because I've waited a long time. So
Mm.
that's good to me.
Oh yeah.
And what I would say, it's building, like, maybe if there's if showtime is at a certain time, um, I get the sense that they get, what do they call it? Then the house lights dim, until you get out of the mezzanine, get out of the, what do you call it, the snack bar, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's where I get the sense that that's, and that's kind of what I'm hearing, the people, the different people who are organizing the logistics are starting to relay.
Okay. So let's now allow that scene to fade away. And I want you to allow your spirit to come back into your body. And I'd like to ask permission for the higher self to step forward, to answer questions and to give you more clarity and understanding on what you've been shown tonight. Just asking permission for the higher self to step forward. And when you're ready, just lend your voice to your higher self. Do I have permission to ask questions on BZ's behalf?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, you showed BZ many things tonight. Was there a purpose or a reason for showing her these things?
Highlight reels.
Okay.
Or maybe better described as mission reels. No, mission feedback.
So you were showing her more insight on her missions?
Yes, and details on packet details.
Okay. Could you clarify what she was when she was seeing the scene as her being a winged being? She couldn't see the wings, but she had a sense that they were there. Could you clarify that for her?
It's part of her organic tech.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she might describe it as her future self.
Oh, okay.
But she knows that's not accurate.
Mm-hmm. So could we say that it was another aspect of her that was observing?
Mm, it's a description, but a
Okay.
good place.
Okay. Could you provide more clarity on what she was observing with those other beings? Was that part of a mission of hers?
Yes, big. It was a big mission.
Okay.
Stealth.
It's still part of her mission. Mm-hmm.
No, stealth.
Oh, okay. Does she need to know anything further about this?
She can look.
Okay. And when you say that, she had described it being more than remote viewing or more than just astral projection. Is this something that you mean when you say she can look?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a word that she could use to describe exactly what she's doing?
She can dial it in our sensory ray.
Okay, good. Another scene, she had went and she felt like she was connected to the rim of a planet. Could you give her a little more clarity on that scene?
It's in the it's in the sector where she created a quasar, and it's a favorite place to.
And
Just
is this somewhere that she currently goes?
just to be.
Okay. Could you help her to understand why she was seeing herself as a baby, but yet viewing out from the baby as well? And then I think she was getting flickers of different scenes as her as a child. Could you help her to understand that?
It's a convergence and convergence choosing of choices. She, a convergence of her choices
Hmm.
shifting into timelines open.
Okay. Does that have anything to do why she doesn't have any memories before the age of 4 or 5?
Yes, because that blueprint is let go.
Okay. Going back to the scene where she was observing those beings, do you know who or what those beings actually are?
Referred to many ways, Draco.
Mm-hmm.
The elite task force.
Was there a reason that they were looking at the coronavirus diagram?
Ongoing.
Okay. Could you give her more clarity on when she went to this big celebration? Was this indeed in the future that she was seeing?
Next.
Okay. Do you have any other information you would like for her to know about this?
Keep eyes open
Mm-hmm.
and be on focus, on mission.
Okay.
Celebrate too.
Okay. Now, could you tell her a little bit about the closed quarters she was in and seeing the reflection of herself? What was that?
It's complex of what is revealed. And not as straightforward as herself, but collective.
Okay. I was wondering if she was somehow um, doing something like she was doing in that first scene, remote viewing, astral projecting, and seeing something that's happening as of now.
Complex combination of some singular self,
Okay.
some like that.
Okay. Now, I had asked her to move to a time before she was actually taken into that closed quarter, and she came out in a park as a girl. Was this her?
Layered streams of her and
Okay. Could you tell her a little bit about how she actually went from the park into that tunnel?
taken.
Taken. Okay. And who is she taken by?
The orchestrating,
The who?
orchestrators.
Orchestrators. Okay. And a lot of the time that she was in that scene, her eyesight wasn't quite right. Everything felt like there was a film. Um, do you know what state she was in? Was it in between sleep and awake, or what was happening there?
It's manipulation of
Uh,
sense,
okay.
the linear manipulation and
Okay. And what was their purpose for taking her?
experiments
Mm-hmm.
and observation
Okay.
and fun.
Okay. And this was not only her, but aspects of others.
One could say yes.
Okay.
Others,
Mm-hmm.
individuated others and aspects.
Okay. Is there anything about this that she needs to know or that the collective needs to know?
They'll know.
Okay.
Time for the unspoken to be spoken.
Can you say that one more time?
Time for the unspoken to be spoken.
Okay. Could you also, while we're talking, could you give BZ a body scan to see if there's anything that needs attention or healing?
Much is changing
Mm-hmm.
in, in ways she anticipates. Patience and follow through.
Okay. Now, BZ was also very curious about her soul origin. Could you provide her with some understanding about that?
Hmm. It's complex.
Okay.
It was her, she would say, "Dude, I didn't imagine far enough." She knows some, senses some,
Mm-hmm.
and she will know all soon.
Okay. And will she also know her bloodline as well? She was very curious about that.
It's of the same.
Okay. Could you provide her understanding on whether she's had a walk-in before?
Not the same descriptor. So phrase that way, no.
Okay.
The scene of her younger is something for her to explore more, because that tells her will unroll some of that for her.
Ah, okay. Let's see. So BZ had a lot of questions about, is she on the right path with her mission? Do you have any information for her that she needs to know or understand about that?
Helpful to assimilate the different, maybe she would say, layers of missions. So there are assignment missions, and then her soul mission, her expansion mission.
Mm-hmm.
There are intersects, there are connections.
Okay.
She gives too much duty to one and not enough to the person.
Is there something that she needs to be concentrated on particularly?
Balance.
Bounds?
Balance.
Balance. Okay. Is she on the right path? She was wanting to know that.
Yes, and the balance will open up more,
Okay.
more to see, more to be.
Do you have any guidance about how she can open up to that balance and how she can work with that?
Resolute in her heart, fierce and balanced.
Mm-hmm. And she was also wanting clarity on when the HATJ mission wraps up. Could you tell her about that?
That was the team she was with.
Okay. That was the team that she was with when she seen that future scene? Oh, okay. And I'm not really sure how to describe this, but she was trying to tell me and show me and describe to me something about because of the mask and COVID and everything that's going on in the world today, how she felt devolved. Could you guide her and help her with that? Kind of give her a better understanding of why she's feeling that way?
It's the nexus of full multidimensionality, meeting with, or she might say clashing with um, separate timeline views. It's not meant to be constricting. It's not meant to be perceived as devolving, but the eye, the needle, presents that distortion sometimes.
Okay.
Huge expansion.
Can you give her guidance on ways to work through that when that feeling happens?
Stay in her knowing she's progressing.
Okay. She also had a question, if you could answer, about Robbie, wanting to know, did he leave the planet when he did, because what he needed to do, he could have done better from the other side?
That would be part an apt description.
Mm-hmm.
His choices have backed him into that choice
Okay.
instead of doing it from his original agreement here.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that for her. She was also wanting to know if there was any information that she needs about a new phase.
It's as vast as the event horizon she saw in the shower,
Hmm.
and complete immersion, complete change. It's not a little change,
Okay.
big change. And with some caveats, and sometimes reluctantly or conflictedly, she's taking the steps to do it.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like for BZ to know tonight?
She's loved beyond measure.
Hmm.
And people do want to hear what she gives voice to.
Do you have any messages for the collective tonight?
There's so much coming forward, at once simple and revealing, and complex and unfolding. And each knows the answer or unlocks the answer. And they need to trust they can do.
Thank you for that. Now, is there any other information that you need to get out before we close this session tonight?
Just as she may feel some pain in some areas, and that's reflective interference. Just feel of it.
You said that's her deflecting interference? Ah, okay. All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much for stepping forward and giving BZ this clarity that she needs, and also the message for the collective. All right, BZ, we're going to bring your light body back into your body now.